Well, this is the gravesite of Conrad Homan, the only Congressional Medal of Honor recipient that we know of who is buried in Framingham. Conrad was a German immigrant who came with his parents in the late 1840s to 1850, settled in Roxbury and grew up there. When the Civil War broke out in 1861 and President Lincoln called for 75,000 volunteers, Conrad was among the first to enlist. He enlisted as a private in the Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry 29th Regiment, and that regiment was in many significant battles in the first years of the war. They fought in the Potomac, they fought in Ohio, Tennessee, Mississippi, and by 1864 they were part of the Army of the Potomac that was surrounding Petersburg in Virginia. The Union generals came up with an ingenious idea to attack the fortifications of the Confederate soldiers. The plan was to dig a tunnel under the Confederate lines, fill the tunnel with explosives, and blow a large breach in the Confederate line through which the Union soldiers would launch an attack. After 30 days, the tunnel was dug and the explosives were in place, and the battle was launched on July 30th. The explosives went off with such a force that it caused great confusion among both the Union forces and the Confederate forces. But in any case, the Union forces were able to regroup and start their assault. Conrad Homan was the color sergeant for the 29th Regiment in that assault, and they were among the first wave. The battle that ensued was one of the most bloody of the Civil War, and Conrad distinguished himself by carrying the colors in the face of heavy enemy fire. Many of the men who were with him, members of his squad, were killed, others were captured, but he held his position and allowed his forces to advance along with other Union forces. Eventually, the Confederate troops were able to regroup in spite of this huge explosion and breach of their lines. They launched a counterattack, and at the end of the day, the assault was a failure. The Union troops had to withdraw. But because of his heroism in that battle, Conrad received the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he was later promoted to the rank of First Lieutenant. And that, in a nutshell, is the story of Conrad Homan and how he became one of our heroes. My name is Fred Wallace, and I'm the Framingham historian, town historian. I'm very interested in the history of the town and its people, and I've been doing this for several years in conjunction with the Framingham Historical Society.